iProov authenticates remote users online in a way that is astoundingly easy and usable and simple to do, but at the same time incredibly secure. The objective is to authenticate and secure people's identities when they're at home using their devices. That protects them, and it protects the enterprises and organizations who rely on trust in that user. Building trust in the internet is really hard. We use face verification to do it because it's dead easy. I look at my device, it looks back at me, nothing could be simpler, and the sensors, front-facing cameras, are available on every single personal device. But the big problem, the really big problem that you've got with face verification is knowing whether you're actually looking at a real face at all, or whether you're looking at a deep fake, or a photograph, or a moving video, or a recording of a person stolen at another time. For years, people worried about face recognition. That's a commodity now. The question is this a genuinely present person? And iProov has established itself as the world leader in assuring the enterprise, in assuring the verifier, that they're actually verifying a genuinely present person. And that's a really hard problem, because all you've got is some imagery coming back from a remote device, which you can't trust. So we developed a proprietary technology which is subject to 18 patents worldwide, which is and has been subject to numerous security tests by governments and by private organizations around the world, that is really, really good at telling whether you're looking at a real person or not. And that's the key to unlocking the use of face verification. 12 years ago, you may know, I was the chairman of mBlocks. And at the time, we were the world's market leader in premium rate SMS payments, mobile payments. We were clearing and settling about $500 million of mobile payments a year. It was a great business. And then it wasn't. Because in the first half of 2008, the bad guys got in, and within those first few months, millions of people had money stolen from them through the mBlocks network. I was on the board of the Phone Paid Services Authority at the time, which was awkward. The press held us to account on this. I remember being asked at the time, on camera, Mr. Bud, the role of you and your company in this scandal, were you complicit or just recklessly incompetent? You know, which is not some place I wanted to be again. So the problem, that we solved it with premium SMS, but 2 years later along came pay for it, along came WAP billing, along came mobile internet billing, along came application billing, and the question was, how can we be sure that we've got an authentically consenting customer who's actually there and genuinely agreeing to a payment, and not some rogue merchant who has control over both the endpoints, swindling money off people without them knowing? The remote dialer problem we revisited. And how do you solve that problem without torturing the user? That was the problem. When you're in the telemedia industry, you know that every click reduces conversion by 25%. So the question was, how could we assure the genuine presence of a user in a way that would be completely usable, which would be completely simple to use? And there was no answer to that. There was no technology around to answer it. So I invented it and patented it in 2012, and then I realized that this was solving a much bigger problem than mobile billing. It was addressing the fundamental problem of trust in the online economy. So we were able to raise money from the British government to pay for the R&D. We spent about 3 or 4 years just doing the technology development necessary to make this really hard problem, to solve this really hard problem in a way that would work and would scale reliably. And then 2017, we won loads and loads and loads of prizes worldwide. And in 2018, we won loads of contracts worldwide. And in the last 2 years, our revenues have gone up by 10 times, and we've doubled our staff and raised Series A finance, and we're on our way to being world leader in this area. There are 2 main use cases. One is ID verification for onboarding. So the EU Settled Status app run by the Home Office, for example, enables European citizens in the UK to apply for settled status and get it sometimes within 90 seconds. A key part of that is identity verification, where we assure that the person who is making the application on their mobile phone at home actually is the person depicted in their identity documents. So we're checking the person against their identity documents. We're doing the same thing for ING Bank in the Netherlands, where you can open a bank account from a complete stranger can open a bank account from a standing start in 4 minutes without ever being seen by another human being. Same thing with Rabobank. in the Netherlands. Same thing with Standard Bank in South Africa. In all cases, we're talking about onboarding people. The first time they come in, meeting know your customer requirements, checking them against their ID, against their documents, using untrusted devices in an unsupervised environment. The other application is authentication, making sure that when they return, they are who they were. The person who's presented themselves now is the same person who presented themselves before. So we're working with the US government on border crossing land borders in the US. With the Singapore government, we're working towards implementations of SingPass, which is the national digital identity platform, and we have a number of customers who are using us for so-called strong customer authentication under PSD2. So whenever you do a high-risk transaction with your bank, you've got to authenticate yourself, and you would do it using iProov. In all cases, the user experience is the same. I look at my phone, it flashes some colors at me for 2.5 seconds, I wait another couple of seconds and it's done. User activity, user commitment, 0. But there is a bit of ceremony in there just to reassure people that their interests, their identity is being protected, and also to ensure that there is consent to the process. So we always remember that we're up against some of the smartest people in the world, funded by compelling criminal business models, and also, quite likely, national security players. So this is an arms race against very capable, very powerful opponents. And part of what makes this so challenging, but also so interesting and, dare I say it, so exciting, is the fact that we can't just sit back and go problem solved. We've got to keep running. And we have a research team of 8 people, PhDs and MScs, specialised in machine learning, perhaps one of the foremost teams in the world in this area, continuously doing research on new ways of inventing frauds and then defending against them. We have one huge advantage, which is that we're doing our genuine presence assurance in the cloud, in our own servers. So our systems are capable of observing and analysing every single claim that comes through. So we get full information about what the attackers are doing. They get a pass or fail. So there's a tremendous information asymmetry, and we can use that data to learn from the attackers what they're doing, evolve our systems continuously, and stay one step ahead. Phones are getting faster, networks are getting faster, 5G is coming, so we can get richer and richer information from the device, which gives us more and more knowledge and context about what's going on, and will, providing we keep running as fast as we can and continually stay alert to the new threats, we can stay one step ahead of them.